Hey guys, Mahmoud here. I run an agency called nichewebsitemanagement.com where we help clients with starter sites all the way up to those with over $1 million in valuation. And in these free videos, I'm going to help you build, scale, and grow your websites for absolutely free. So let's get into today's video. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about a really cool mini case study that I did with one of my clients where we was able to increase his traffic by over 45% in less than 30 days. So stay with me with this super short video where I'm going to give you 5 simple steps and strategies that we used to increase his traffic and also increase his revenue, which is awesome. Let's go. So step 1, you need to define your goals and your metrics. So this is a niche website, so we're looking to increase the traffic and the visibility to his top pages. So we identified what those top pages were. This particular client had over 400 pages, and to go through 400 pages and do on-page SEO, it wasn't practical. So we chose his top 100 pages, and of those, 50 turned out to be the ones that were the most impactful if we could increase them by 4, 5, or 6 positions and get them to the top 3. On top of that, this website had quite a lot of content that we probably needed to trim and remove. But in terms of increasing traffic, we left those for now and we focused on the ones that would actually make a difference as we moved them up with some type of content refresh or audit, etc. Also, we was thinking about pages that we could optimize by adding very simple internal links. So we had a practical strategy. We also knew which pages that we should target. And the next, our step was to add those URLs into a spreadsheet. So step 2, very simple. You just need to collect your URLs. So you figured out the ones that you need. It could be 10, it could be 50, it could be 100. You need to map those down into a spreadsheet so you can check the data and see which ones are the ones that we're going to start with first. Now, you can do this in 2 ways. You can either just copy and paste, which is fine, or you can go to your website sitemap, which will be your domain.com/sitemap_XML, or if you've got Rank Math or Yoast plugin, they usually are generated automatically. So now you have your URLs, we need to go over to step 3. Now, step 3 is analyzing all this data. So we figured out exactly which URLs are going to be the most impactful. We have jotted them down into some type of spreadsheet from using Yoast plugin or a Rank Math plugin or the sitemap, or just copy and paste them. And now we need to figure out specifically what we're going to do on each page. So here's an example of a content audit that I've done with this particular client, and here's how it looks. So as you can see, we've mapped out page views, we've mapped out organic sessions, we've mapped out how many links that Google Search Console or any backlink SEO tool has shown for each URL. We've mapped out a suggested action in terms of whether we should leave it as is, or potentially we should redirect it. Maybe we should delete it, or maybe we should consolidate it. I've added my notes. I've also added what position the current URL is in terms of its position in the SERPs, so the search engine ranking positions. We've mapped out the top keyword volume for whatever keyword we're targeting, so we know if it actually makes sense to boost rankings. If we get to the top results, how much traffic are we roughly going to receive? And we've also added a word count. So this is a rough estimate of how many words we need to add into the content to potentially outrank our competition based on how many words they have. So quite a lot of data points here. So this is why we need to collect the URLs so we know exactly which URLs we're going to target first, what we're going to do with those URLs, and what competition potentially we are competing against. Now this brings us nicely into step 4. Step 4 is to put your action plan into play. So you've got all the data, you know which URLs you picked, you understand the competitor analysis against the top performing pages, and now you need to implement that plan. So in step 4, these are some of the things that you can do to increase the visibility of your content and hopefully outrank your competition. You can reuse your content as is and maybe do small tweaks. You can rewrite the entire piece of content. You can expand your content and add in different headlines that your competitors have added in that you haven't. You can refresh the entire piece of content by adding total new pieces and sections to show Google that you're more topically relevant. You can restructure it just by maybe moving some of those elements around to match your competition that's above you. You can update your call to actions. You can add videos. You can add images. You can optimize meta tags. There's quite a lot of that can be done, right? So what you need to do is structure specifically what you're going to do per page based on your competition and based on what you haven't already done. One of the things that we've done for this particular case study is we added at least 500 words to every single post based on whatever competition we was analyzing. And then we added a ton of internal links. So this particular site didn't have many internal links. So we added pretty much every single internal link on those optimized pages. We added words and we restructured all of the headings to make it more suitable for what Google already saw as the top 3 posts. Now this is super important. Once you've completed steps 1 to steps 4, you need to go into Google Search Console and resubmit every single URL into their recrawl tool. So Google will manually recrawl that post when they go through your website, and it gives you the chance to manually add that URL into Google's crawl list or crawl queue. for them to go ahead and crawl it. So instead of them automatically coming to your site and crawling your site, you give them a prompt essentially. And lastly, step 5. Step 5 is adjusting and ranking up with what's working. So we gave the content time to be crawled, searched, and started to see small ranking improvements across a few weeks, and we decided, okay, let's wait to see exactly what Google are crawling, which pages are going up, which pages are staying the same, maybe which pages are going down. And then once we have all that data from 100 pages, we'll go ahead and roll out what worked correctly over the website and then rank up what's working, right? So for us, internal link, anything that had about 3 or 4 more internal links than previously, done really well. Anything that was restructured in terms of headings, done really well. And anything that had at least 500 words also added to the content, we started to see increases. So we rolled that out across the rest of the entire website. And we saw some really cool increases in traffic. Now, one thing I would recommend is you definitely need to use a SERP tracker. So I use Ahrefs and we've got a rank tracker tool. We plugged in pretty much every single URL and every single keyword that we was monitoring. And then we could see what was happening. Was it going up? Was it going down? Is there trends in silos? Is there competition, too much competition on some of these keywords, etc. And there's a few other rank trackers that you can use. There's a cool kind of very cheap one I use called SERP Robot. Very simple to use, does exactly the same thing. So maybe you should check that one out first. I'll leave a link in the description below. But you definitely need to be tracking probably on every 24 hours to see where your keywords are ending up, and then you can make smart decisions to see what's working and what's not. So again, 5 steps. The first 3 steps are pretty simple. Step 4, it takes a little bit more time. And then step 5 is just making sure those steps are done correctly and then ranking up to improve on what's working. I wanted to keep this video short and impactful. Hopefully you've got some value from it. If so, feel free to like, share and comment below, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.